Story 1. The Internship That Was Never Real. My name is Daniel. I graduated from college back in 2021, and honestly, from the outside, everything about my life looked perfect. Good grades, solid friend group, internship offers lined up. But there's one thing that happened during my sophomore year that I've never really been able to explain. And to this day, I still wonder what would have happened if I made a slightly different decision. It started the same way most opportunities do. An email. At first, I thought it was spam. You know, one of those generic, "we're impressed with your profile" messages. But this one felt different. It mentioned specific projects I had worked on. It referenced my coursework, even my extracurriculars. Someone had clearly done their homework. The company claimed to be a private consulting firm, low profile, exclusive clients, high pay, the kind of opportunity every business student dreams about. And they wanted to interview me. I remember rereading that email over and over again, trying to find something off about it, but there wasn't anything obvious. So I replied. Within a few hours, I got a response from a man named Victor Hale. I still remember that name. His messages were short, professional, straight to the point. We scheduled an interview for the next day, but then something felt off. I tried looking him up. LinkedIn? Nothing. Company website? Barely anything. No employees listed, no history, no presence. It was like he didn't exist. I told my roommate Ethan about it, and he immediately told me not to go. He said it didn't feel right. And honestly, I agreed. But at the same time, this felt like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So I went anyway. That was my first mistake. The interview location was strange. It wasn't on campus, not even near campus. It was about 25 minutes away, in an industrial part of the city. The kind of place you don't accidentally end up in. I almost canceled. I really did. But I had already ordered the Uber, and something in my head kept telling me, what if this is real? When I arrived, I immediately knew something was wrong. The address led me to an empty street. No offices, no coffee shops, just abandoned buildings and silence. I checked my phone again. Same address. That's when I heard it. Daniel. A voice behind me. Deep, calm, controlled. I turned around and saw a man standing next to a black SUV. Tall, well-dressed, too well-dressed for that area. He smiled slightly. "Victor," he said, extending his hand. I shook it. His grip was tight, uncomfortably tight. I asked him about the location, and he just laughed softly. "Last-minute change," he said. "You know how these things go." I didn't, but I nodded anyway. He gestured toward the SUV. "Let's talk inside, more private." That's when everything in my body told me not to move. I can't explain it. There was no clear reason, but something felt wrong. Still, I stepped closer to the car, and that's when I saw it. Through the tinted glass, in the back seat. At first, I thought it was just shadows, but then it moved. A person. Someone was lying down, completely still, and next to them, something metallic, long. My brain didn't even fully process what I was looking at. It just reacted. I turned around and ran. I heard him call my name. Not loudly, not angrily, just calmly, like he wasn't worried. That scared me more than anything. I sprinted down the street, my heart pounding so hard it felt like it was going to burst. Then I heard the car door slam and the engine start. I didn't look back at first. I didn't want to. But when I finally did, the SUV was turning toward me, slowly, deliberately, like it knew I had nowhere to go. That's when panic really set in. I wasn't just running anymore. I was trying to survive. I ran down a random alley, then another street. I had no plan, no direction, just distance. Then somehow, I got lucky. There was a construction site with an open gate. I ran inside without thinking and ducked behind a pile of concrete blocks. Seconds later, the SUV passed by. Slow, searching. I held my breath. Every second felt like an hour. Until finally, the sound of the engine faded. I stayed there for another 10 minutes, too scared to move, too scared to even breathe properly. When I finally came out, my hands were shaking so badly I could barely unlock my phone. I called Ethan. He picked up and I just started yelling. He drove to me immediately, and when I got in the car, neither of us said a word for a long time. I reported the whole thing, the email, the name, the location. Nothing came back. The email was deleted, the company didn't exist, and Victor Hale wasn't a real person. But sometimes, late at night, I think about that person in the back seat, and I wonder, were they already dead? Or were they still alive when I walked up to that car? Story 2. My roommate watched me sleep. This happened during my freshman year, and I swear I have never felt safe in a room since. When I first moved into my dorm, everything felt normal. I had 3 roommates. 2 of them were chill. The third one wasn't. His name was Marcus. At first, he just seemed quiet, introverted, awkward, the kind of guy who keeps to himself. But after a few days, I started noticing things. He didn't go to class. Ever. He barely left the room. And he had this habit of whispering to himself, not constantly, but enough for me to notice. At night was the worst. I'd be lying in bed, trying to sleep, and I'd hear him muttering, laughing quietly, repeating the same phrases over and over again. At first, I told myself it was nothing, just nerves, new environment. But then, things got worse. One night, I came back late. It was around 2 a.m. The room was dark, and Marcus looked like he was asleep. I quietly walked to my desk, and then I felt it. That feeling, like someone was watching you. I turned around, and my heart dropped. Marcus was sitting up in his bed, staring directly at me, not blinking, just staring, with a slight smile on his face. I jumped back and said, "Dude, what the hell?" He didn't respond right away, just kept staring. Then, after a few seconds, he whispered, "I was waiting." I felt my stomach drop. "Waiting for what?" I asked. He didn't answer. He just slowly laid back down and turned toward the wall. After that, I couldn't sleep properly. Every sound felt amplified. Every movement felt intentional. And then, I started noticing my stuff going missing. Small things. A sock. A pen. My phone charger. At first, I thought I misplaced them. Until one day, I found them. I walked into the room earlier than usual. Marcus panicked when he saw me, like I caught him doing something. There was a box on his desk. I asked him what it was. He said nothing. That was enough for me to make suspicious. Then, as he moved, the box fell and opened. I wish it hadn't. Inside were my things. All of them. My charger, my socks, even a printed photo of me. But that wasn't the worst part. There were other things too. Things that weren't mine. Hair, glasses, and small notes with names on them. Different names. Not
not just mine. I felt sick. I told him to get out immediately. He didn't argue. He just smiled and left. I reported it to the RA, but when we went back to check the box, it was gone. Completely gone. Marcus denied everything, said I was imagining things. And without proof, there was nothing they could do. I still had to live with him for months, in the same room, sleeping just a few feet away from someone who collected pieces of me, like I was some kind of project. The scariest part? A few weeks later, I woke up in the middle of the night, and for a split second, I saw him standing next to my bed. Just standing.